We're here with one of my favorite guests, multiple appearances now, for Jasmine McKnight, who's back. We're here for what's kind of a tradition now, previewing the GG's upcoming season. Jasmine, how are you?
I'm super good, super pumped to be here. I think this is our third time doing this.
I think so.
Third? Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Um, yeah, looking forward to getting into the GGs.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been a while. It's been like a year since we did this. How's your summer treated you?
Summer has been super busy, super not busy at the same time. Trying to keep up with the Ottawa weather
Oh
is
my
probably
God.
the main thing. It's impossible. Um, but yeah, overall, super good. What about you?
Yeah, it's been busy. I think this is gonna be my second episode since like March. So I just kind of like put it on a hiatus for a little bit and basically just been planning day trips and got little kiddo and that keeps me busy. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, a lot of playground time. So it's hard to record a podcast from a playground, which I should try actually.
There's definitely an audience for that.
There is definitely an audience for that. How's the career in Ultimate going? You still playing?
I did not play. So I finished my Gigi's career,
Okay.
which is I wish I could play University Ultimate forever. Um, yeah, this last team that we had was super fun. Um, and really enjoyed that, but I have not played since. I've taken the
Oh
summer
boy.
off. I
Okay.
started running.
Hello.
I Not even a week before I started this running thing did I say I don't understand why anybody would run for no reason. I don't get it. It looks boring. I would never do that. Um, but then I ran the Ottawa race weekend 10K. And then after that, I was like, I could do a half marathon. I could do that. So in October, on October 1st, I'm gonna do the Quebec City half marathon.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And the phase I'm in right now.
Okay. Well, congratulations, sir, for doing your first 10K there and signing up for a half. That's fantastic.
Yeah, super weird. Did not expect the timeline to take me on that path, but here we are.
Well, there you go. Well, good luck on
Mhm.
that.
Thanks. Thanks. It's
Um,
weird.
it's fun though. I used to run more often, and I keep saying I should get back into running. I should get back into running, and it's yet to happen. But
I feel like
maybe
once you start, you'll be back in it.
I think so. And like I feel like when you talk to other people who are doing it, it kind of gives you that extra little yeah,
For
I really
sure.
should do it. I really should do it. We'll see. I will get back to you.
Okay.
So you've also graduated since we last talked, I think.
Yeah,
Congratulations on that.
thank you. I'm a grown up apparently, according to the piece of paper.
It's all lies. It's
It
all lies.
is. It's all a
Yeah,
scam.
it's all a scam.
Whatever.
Um,
I
but
did
you're
it.
so you're now formally the co-editor of the Fulcrum, but you're still in the university realm, because you have a new job title. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I finished up my term at the Fulcrum in April or May. I actually don't remember for some reason. But pretty shortly after that, I was able to um, find a role in the actual University of Ottawa's team. So now I work doing sports information and digital media. Yeah, just for varsity athletics, varsity and recreation as a whole. So it's really cool to have like a new perspective on, seeing the teams every day, the coaches are around, definitely like kind of like flipped, if that makes sense, where I was a student athlete um, on a club team while I was at the Fulcrum covering other teams. And now I'm getting like the insider perspective, which is really fun. I get to see all the fun parts, all the stressful parts. and it hasn't been long. So I'm excited to do like my first season from this position. And yeah, just like really immerse myself in university sports.
That's fantastic. And I mean,
Hmm.
that's great for me because I'm like as we chatted about, before the pod, I'm framing you as the expert. And you've just said you have all the inside goods. So you're definitely going to be the expert in this episode here
Yeah,
on everything
eventually.
GG's. Okay, okay.
Eventually.
Um so yeah, we're talking GG's women's soccer, of course. And last season was a really busy one because not only did they have the run to the national championships where they won
Mhm.
bronze, they also won gold at the FISU Americas tournament, beating a team
Yep,
from Brazil in the finals. So that was a lot of soccer to play. So you have to think that was pretty taxing, right?
for sure. And like also the indoor series, they really
Right.
play as much
Yeah.
soccer as they can. And that's like I think an overall like really awesome experience for all the players to have so many opportunities to play. Obviously, like getting to travel and partake in tournaments, like not only in Ontario, not only in Canada, but like elsewhere in the world is a really cool thing that we've got to see in the last couple of years with this team. And I think that's like exciting for us that like follow soccer, for the team that's obviously playing, but also just for like upcoming girls and players that are now seeing that you don't necessarily like have to go play at a school in the States to have those opportunities. It's like you can do that here, and that's really sweet.
If anything, you might see, I mean, with the success that Ottawa's had, you might actually even see more of that kind of action coming to a school like Ottawa, you know?
Hmm.
With a new season comes some players graduate and they have to leave the program, but new players are always coming in. Are there any new players on the roster that you think are ones to watch?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously you can find the roster announcements on the team's Instagram and everything, but I'm just gonna highlight a few. The first one I think is kind of funny, not really a new player to the OUA or U Sports, but from Queens, the GGs got Jenna, and
It's
she
Jenna
was,
Kubo, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's a huge pickup, and like obviously in OUA first team All Star. Um, Nice to have like another strong, experienced forward, especially like you said, players leaving the lineup. Um, it kind of feels like we have this like fantasy forward lineup because we have the reigning national player of the year in Cassandra. So that's like a really cool situation. So really excited to see like what somebody like Jenna is considered like such a strong playmaker. Um, I think she led this conference in assists.
She's
So
like
that's like
really good. She's a
really
really
good.
she's
Yeah,
a
good
really good
player.
get.
um, but then also, yeah, that's somebody to watch in the sense of like Queens is a team that has rivaled the GGs. Um, so snatching a star from there.
I think she
That's
was their captain. So sorry, Queens, but
sorry. Um, Another one is I hope I pronounced her last name correctly, but Florence LaRoche.
okay.
Um, so she is from Quebec. She had a couple years playing at San Diego State. Um, but she's coming here now, and she won the 2017 Canada Games with Quebec, Team Quebec.
Okay.
Um, and then she also represented Canada at the World U17 World Cup, FIFA World Cup in 2016. Um, so those are already great sounding um, achievements, I would say. So she'll be in the
Good
lineup as
resume.
well. Yeah, good resume, exactly. And then a couple local pickups. Maya Dussault, and Gab Furland. So those are some names to keep an eye out for, I think.
Okay.
Really exciting stuff. Yeah.
Right on. And of course, we have returning players. Who like what returning players do you expect to have some more significant roles?
Yeah, I mean, let's just acknowledge Cassandra again, reigning national player of the year.
I think she may
It's
have
really
scored like the most goals of like any player, men's or women's, across the country last year.
yeah, I think they just posted about that on OUA or something, and they were
Oh,
like,
right on.
who's gonna score more? I'm like, maybe her again, actually. Um, um, yeah, I think she had 18 goals last year. So
Yeah, something like that.
yeah, so if she can improve on that, I think we're in pretty good hands.
We're good. Yeah.
Yeah, so with her, Sumaya's back, so that'll be good. On the defense, Adrienne Delvin's back, Maya Smith is back. Yeah, pretty solid, I would say.
Do you think there's any like storylines for fans to watch?
Well, just talking about this whole Queens thing, I think that's gonna be um pretty exciting. Um,
It's always a
I
grudge
think
match. Do you think it's gonna be like taken up a
if
notch now?
it must be like it has to be because I don't know the story. I don't know how everybody feels. I think it'll be really exciting just to see how she plays against Queens and then how Queens comes out to play against like
It it is
again
a
like a rival
legitimately
team.
yeah, it is like a legitimately a big rivalry. Like
Hmm.
all the players I've talked to who like graduated always say like, oh, like if they play for Queens, they're like U of O, or if they play for the GGs, like, oh, Queens. Like there's
Well, it's
actual
just
like anger still that lingers.
literally. Well, and then also just like they played each other so early on um in the season last year, and that ended in a tie. Whereas this year, like it's still like an early game on the schedule.
Hmm.
Just the fourth game, but like I feel like around fourth or fifth. But I
Hmm.
still feel like around that time of year, you can already kind of see like which teams are, you know, as strong as they once were or weren't. And
Yeah.
I just feel like both teams are like gonna be good still. And so that's still like good timing to have that game.
And so that kind of leads into my next question, which is who do you think will be three of the toughest opponents on the OUA
Mm-hmm.
calendar?
Mm-hmm. So I'll just stick to talking about Queens for a second, but for all the reasons we already talked about, that's an exciting, grueling game. Looking forward to that. I'm also interested to see how each team handles that game. For Ottawa, they'll be coming off of a 2 week break.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah, they just have a really large break at that point in the schedule where
Hmm.
Queens will have played the day before. Um, so that should be, I don't know how that'll
Interesting.
affect either team. It's
Like will Ottawa be like rusty, or like will
or will they
Queens
just
be
be like nice
tired?
and rested? Like I'm not
Yeah.
sure. And it is in Ottawa, so I have Toronto on my radar. I don't think necessarily like my picks for like who are the big OUA teams this year that much of a shock, like considering how well Toronto did last year in the regular
Hmm.
season. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's like another tough matchup that was a loss for Ottawa last year. Um, the only loss for Ottawa last year.
I think so.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I never count out Carlton in any sport when it comes to playing against Ottawa. Um, I just feel like the rivalry scenario and the fact that it's like always in Ottawa makes, I don't know if it makes players play better or whatever. I know last year Ottawa won both of those games pretty handily, but again, I would never count them out. Um,
They do usually play Ottawa pretty like tough though. I think yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's who's on my radar this year.
Okay. Do you have any predictions for the season? for the GGs? Like maybe regular season record, or do you think that they're going to go back to nationals to compete there, which is down in
Um,
Queens?
which is in Queens. I was
Which
just
is
gonna
in
say,
Queens,
like,
yeah.
we can't shake the Queens Gales. We can't shake them, which is okay. It's fun.
Yeah.
Um, I do think that they will um find themselves in nationals again. I really believe that they'll make another medaling run.
Okay.
Um, uh, it's always hard to predict how a team's gonna do when they lose like a handful of players. I remember last year I talked about Kat Delev um, on this podcast
Yep.
quite a bit, and I do think that that's somebody that's hard to lose, like a voice, a leader on your team, as well as like a couple pieces here and there. With Trinity Esperts graduated, um, and then we only had her for last year, but Kayla Kyle made an impact on the team, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Having new players come in and like having to imagine like, are these people going to fill those shoes? I hope so. Are they going to go beyond that? I hope so. Because if they do, and the whole team does, we're on the path to another medal, and that's cool. Um, so I'm putting my faith in the GGs that everything's going to come together. Um, they've already played 2 preseason games. Not sure if you've seen the results of those. So they went down to Dartmouth. It was a 1-1 draw there. And then on Wednesday, Tuesday, one of those days,
I think Wednesday.
Santa Fe was in town. So that was a 3-0 loss, unfortunately. And
I found that
then
really surprising, but it is just preseason though. So
it
I'm
is
not, I'm
just
not sure how much to read
preseason.
into that.
And you can't read into it too much, but it can it can have a tone setting effect. Again, I have complete faith in the GGs. I think last year I tried to remember what my prediction was. I feel like I might have said 10-1-1.
Rings a
Um,
bell. That might be right.
it maybe it was that.
Yeah.
Last year was 9-1-2.
Okay.
Um,
Pretty close then.
I was close, and I feel like a crazy person for wanting to go 10-1-1 again.
It sounds, I mean, it doesn't sound crazy, you know?
It sounds a tiny bit crazy,
For a team with like a
but
strong culture like they do, like you gotta
mhm,
think they're gonna rack up mostly wins, you know?
yeah, exactly. And I just feel like what we have up front is so strong that it's like how are you supposed to bet against it? I don't know. I feel like I had this exact same confidence last year and it paid off pretty well.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna go 10-1-1, and I'm not even gonna doubt myself.
Okay, we're
I'm gonna
locking
leave
it
it there.
in.
Yeah.
All right. You know, a question that just occurred to me because last year we were talking about the GGs and Ravens game, how it should be a bigger deal.
Hmm.
How how they should play it like TD Place or anything. Now that you're on the inside, is there any like chatter
Oh,
about making a bigger deal about
about
it?
making a bigger deal about it.
Yeah.
I think it's actually kind of funny because I think on one of this is before I was hired that this occurred, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But the uOttawa GG's account posted something about the rivalry series, which is the big name games like
Yeah,
Panda,
yeah.
Colonel By, whatever. And I
Okay.
think one of the soccer players literally commented like we play Carleton on this day, by the way. So definitely something to know and something I'll have to push a little bit.
Okay.
Um, as of right now, that's just Matt Anthony Field.
Okay. And then the Ravens nest, I guess, too.
But we also said last year that we were going to take it upon ourselves to make it a bigger deal.
That's
So
true.
we could do better.
Do we start a campaign? Do we do like a
We need to have like how can we do this? Like an event.
like like a petition at least? At least a petition.
A
We can at least
petition.
do a petition. I mean, so I did notice that this is probably going to be after this episode goes up, but some GG's players are going to be at the Atletico Ottawa game.
Mhm.
Um on Saturday against Forge FC. So it is kind of nice to see a bit of increased visibility there. And I wonder if Atletico Ottawa would be kind of interested in kind of helping boost the local university soccer scene.
For sure. Yeah, as of right now, I'm not sure. It is good to like see that relationship grow, especially as like I feel like soccer in Ottawa grew a lot in the last like year, maybe even
Mm-hmm.
2 years, with the presence of um the team and like having, a professional soccer scene. Um, like I'm so embarrassed. I've still not made it to a game.
We're gonna
Um,
change that.
yeah, it's like
We're gonna get you to a game.
kind of illegal that I haven't been yet. But all the
As a
content
soccer fan in the city,
I
I think they should have offered you some tickets by now, at the very least. Like
good
maybe that's
point.
on Atletico.
But I obviously like have friends that go to every single game. Um, and the content is just really cool, like seeing how like into it people get. And yeah, like you said, just like really cool to have some GG's players make content at TD Place and again like build the relationship with the team and hopefully grow soccer a little bit more and the visibility's there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that kind of ties into the next portion of the pod, because there have been so many good players for the GGs, and like across U Sports, but in Canada, U Sports is arguably like the top level of women's soccer right now. It's like that and League One Canada, and lots of players like play U Sports and they play League One Canada. Um, but if players who want to turn pro can't find a contract somewhere, that's often the case, they're kind of forced to retire. Um, so we've seen like a strong connection in men's soccer between in Ottawa between Atletico and the Ravens men team. Um, and with the upcoming Project 8 women's team or women's league coming, I think you could have an even stronger connection between an Ottawa team, assuming that happens, and the GGs. So before the show, I asked you to think about the current roster and like recent GGs alumni, and see if we can put together like a hypothetical GGs only starting 11 for a Project 8 League Ottawa side. So we didn't totally organize how we were going to do this. So I don't know if you want to if you want to go back and forth and we can like say, hey, here's who we thought would be on a starting 11, or if you just want to like go over some names and see how our lists compare.
Yeah, let's see how we compare. We can kind of like go back and forth a little bit, and then
Okay.
we can see if it's even possible to make a solid 11 when there's just so many good
So,
players out there.
well, that's just it. Well, I think there wasn't a problem of coming up with a solid 11. I think my problem was having to leave out some players because I felt
Yeah.
very upset at some players that I didn't have on my list.
This is exactly what I went through. I was like, what do you mean?
There's only like you can't have you know 8 midfielders
Why?
or 10 forwards because there's been so many damn
So
good
many.
forwards. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I went through this too, and I was excited that you mentioned this because, well, I had to ask you for help when I was doing it, but I was looking into or the recent GGs that have gone on to have professional careers this last season, and I couldn't find their stats, so yeah, sent you a
Stats are
message.
very hard to find
Said,
in like a
please help
lot
me.
of leagues. Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
It's oh, actually I recently found a website oh no, I shared it with you. That's
You
right.
sent it. You sent me.
I
Yeah,
did. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It was
Uh,
yeah. It was a life saving moment. So thank you.
no worries.
Um. Anyways, do you want to start by like position maybe, and then
Yeah.
yeah, we can do that section by section.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, so I'm curious to see like how our like let's compare by position. I have
Mm-hmm.
a feeling we'll have quite a few that are the same,
Yeah.
but
Did you have any criteria specifically, or were you just like, oh, you're good?
it's just how I felt.
Okay, yeah, you followed your heart.
I followed
Yeah,
my heart pretty
yeah, I
much,
get
yeah. But that's why it hurts so much to leave some
it.
some players off. So it's
I
like,
know.
well, you're also there. I
Yeah.
also care about you. Yeah. So what I kind of went with, I thought I would go with like a 3-4-3 formation. So that's
Okay.
so like so I had like three spots for D, four for mid, and three forwards. For goalkeeper, let's start there.
Okay.
I thought there was no one else I could go with but Margot Shore.
Okay. I also have Margot, and I was ready to defend myself about it.
100%.
So I have, yeah, great, perfect.
However, I do have a special mention for Hilary Deman,
Mm-hmm.
who is also playing professionally somewhere in France, maybe.
Uh, yes.
You might have that.
Belgium.
Okay, Belgium. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been some stellar goalkeepers, including players I guess, still currently on the roster who
Yeah.
also could perfectly
Could
easily
just be
play
on this team. Yep.
100%. Um,
Okay, but I'm
uh,
glad we were on the same page
okay.
there.
So, I have three defenders. How many do you have?
Yeah, I also have three.
Okay. Who do you have?
Okay, I have Cooper Lee.
Same.
Um and then this is, I don't know if this is a little too far back, but I went Gillian Baggett.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I flipped it and went super recent and went Trinity Esper.
Okay.
Hmm.
So I also have Trinity. So who is the other name?
I had Cooper Lee
Yep.
and Gillian Baggett.
Okay.
Are you
So
familiar?
no, I'm not.
Okay, so she it was really random that it like came up because I was like going through some content on the website, just looking through web pages. So
Okay.
she was the National Player of the Year in 2012.
Really?
Yeah. Um,
Is she
on
still playing?
defense, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
So if that was supposed to be a factor,
That's okay. We'll just
oops.
have to bring her out of retirement. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so she was second team defense 2011, and then 2012 first team and National Player of the Year.
Fantastic.
Hmm.
So I also had Cooper Lee.
Yep.
Also had Trinity Esprit. And I put Adrienne Devlin on
Oh,
there as
yeah.
well.
Hmm.
Because I thought last year she was just an absolute standout.
Yep.
Like on the streams, I heard Gordon Smith say her name like almost as much as like
The
any
whole
other.
time.
Exactly, yeah. And I could listen to that guy talk all day with his Scottish brogue. But
Yep.
yeah, but interesting thing about those three, I didn't realize that until I actually like wrote down their names, but they all played together this summer with Simcoe. So they're just like super familiar anyway. So they could probably
Yeah.
just step into any
They,
professional side and just be like a back three.
yeah, easily package a
Yeah.
deal.
And Simcoe really seems to like Gigi's players. So something about it.
Something about it.
Something about it. So I had four midfielders. How
Okay,
many
I
did you?
wrote down four because I
Okay.
was like crying the whole time.
Oh
Do you want
yeah.
to go first this time?
Sure. Okay. So two players who this summer played with OSU, had to love, I think would be just a stalwart in the mid for anyone, and Miranda Smith,
Okay.
with some good pro experience. Um and just like still has a hell of a shot. Like when I interviewed her, I talked about how the goal she scored that like secured the national championship was just like one of the best absolute bangers I've seen in any league. But OSU had some clips just over the last few months, and she's still just like
She's
I
still
don't know how
doing
she
it.
does it because I don't think she's a big person, but like holy Mackinac. um Also Haley Walsh
Hmm.
has uh ever since leaving the GGs, she's played really well with Electric City and got a pro contract last year with Treaty United in Ireland, as well as Cooper Lee. They
Yep.
both played in Ireland. And my last midfielder would be Sadie Sider Eckenberg,
Hmm.
who only played 1 year with the GGs, but left because she's just amazing and
Amazing.
is with Le Havre in France's top division, and like has a few goals there. Like she's unbelievable. So
So
those are my four.
cool. Yeah, so almost the same for me. Miranda is who I was crying over.
Oh no.
Um, because so I had Haley, Sadie, and Kat Delev as well.
Okay.
Um, I just like locked those three in and then yeah, and then had a breakdown.
Yep.
I
Yep.
really wanted to include Kat Biern on my list.
Okay.
Um, I just felt like when I first started watching Gigi's, she was just like all over the place in the midfield. I thought she was so cool, like just a staple Gigi for me.
Yep.
And she's got her own list of acknowledgements in USports and OUA. So
Okay.
I went back and forth on her and Miranda. Miranda does have the professional experience though. And like if you're saying she's still out there doing the thing, then I'm happy to go that way with our if we're making a complete final list.
Okay, so that just leaves some forwards.
Yeah. So
So
I also had so I have four here. I know that's not proper, but
that's fine. Yeah.
I'm not capable of crossing out names right now. Um
It's too
so
painful.
I I put Emma Lefebvre on immediately.
Same.
Yeah, just no thoughts even just right there. Michaela Morton.
Oh, I had a hard time leaving her off of mine.
No, don't do
I
this.
did. I did.
And then I put Cassandra on.
Yeah.
And then I put Pilar Corey on.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
I had three forwards.
Mm-hmm.
So my three were Emma, Cassandra, and Pilar.
Yeah.
Corey, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was uh but leaving like leaving some other names off, like uh, I I really wanted to have Victoria Marchand on there too, because I think she would like I think she should be in a pro league somewhere, but it's not to be.
Yeah.
Or Sumaya or Nebo, both of
Yeah.
them are like not being in my 11 is just so painful.
Yeah, it feels wrong. I'm still looking at these four names. Like I feel like I just like can't I can't just take Michaela off this list. Like it's like wrong. Like it's all wrong to take any of them off.
I mean, anyone who played for like the world championship team is
Hmm.
just like you could easily just put like that whole starting lineup on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
truly.
yeah.
Which that's great for the uOttawa program. I think it says a lot.
Well,
Like
exactly.
really,
Yeah.
yeah, really like proud to like be, adjacent a part of it and like it's just cool to watch and especially just like over the last however long I've been watching at least, like I just feel like there's been like really big jumps in the things that the team is doing and it's like so awesome.
Well, and it really just shows like the talent that comes through the program, and like the fact that some of these players, don't have uh pro contracts or like haven't been playing pro on a regular basis, but like we know their quality. Like
Hmm.
it just shows that like there's a gap there, and I really hope that Ottawa gets a pro team when that women's league starts up in 2025.
Yeah.
And I'm
um
calling out Atletico Ottawa right now. It should be you that does it because it just makes way
yeah.
too much sense. Just like it's just a few $1 million. Just
Just
do
a
it.
few million,
It's
just
Atletico Madrid. Like
come on.
it's nothing. It would be like an accounting error. Just do it.
Yeah. That's funny.
No.
Yeah, fingers crossed that, yeah, I think Ottawa has a lot of potential
Yeah.
as a soccer city.
And that's just the GGs. And like, uh no shade on the Ravens who have quality players. And like there's also college. Like Algonquin has a
Hmm.
incredible history of like winning championships too. Like lots of players like actually have been GGs and also been Algonquin players. So
There you go. I feel like we also should acknowledge Steve Johnson, uOttawa's head coach. Clearly, he's doing an incredible job too to you know, just year after year have like such dominant teams and, help produce these amazing players that we just, had heartbreak over putting on a list. But like I said, like I think we spend a lot of time talking about all the products of the program that I feel good about taking, a couple seconds to acknowledge
Absolutely.
the,
And I
the
mean,
the guy behind it.
yeah. And I mean the players love playing for him.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's really nice to see a guy who like he seems to want to have the players kind of like getting the limelight, and but he clearly plays a big role in their development, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's pretty much all I had. I guess to wrap it up, before I let you go, are there any upcoming pieces or personal projects you'd like to plug? And where can people follow you or find your stuff?
Yeah, so I changed my Instagram name. So it's just Jasmine McKnight 88 now. I think
Okay.
I primarily post things going on there, whether it's Gigi stuff across all sports, personal work I'm doing, anytime I actually hop on Twitch and play games.
Oh, so you're still a Twitch
Um,
star.
Still a star.
Okay.
Um, I I'm just like running, playing floorball. I don't know if you saw it, but I was on the national team earlier this year.
I did see
Um,
that for
yeah,
for
for
floorball.
floorball, yeah, and we had a 2-game series against the United States, and we lost, but it was really fun, really cool experience. So hoping to continue to be involved with that program and that sport. I really love it.
Just casually on a
Um,
on a floorball team, like on a floorball national team. Like,
yeah, I don't know why I didn't mention that before when I was so focused on
oh
frisbee
yeah, I'm a
retirement.
nationally recognized floorball player. This has never
But
come up. We've spoken a few times. This has never come up.
yeah,
Is this new?
yeah.
And you're just like a natural, or
Um, I was in and out of participation with the sport and program
okay?
um before COVID. And then after COVID, I guess essentially what happened was they were, trying to like get things together again and get people out again. And the Ottawa community is like super, super fun and friendly. And I don't really remember what my reasoning was for going back to it, but I went out to just like a couple drop in, like for fun sessions and was just like having a really good time. Um, and then, yeah, a couple months later came the tryouts for the national team. So those were in Belleville. Belleville. Um,
Floorball capital of Canada.
of course. Um, and then just like I had such a good time like meeting the girls that had been representing the national program before and then like other new faces. Like it was just really fun. And I immediately was like, I'm going to cry and scream if I don't make this team. Um, and then actually funny story, we were told we were gonna get the email like around Christmas time or before Christmas time, and I
Mhm.
didn't get an email, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, there's no way. Like, really? Like, am I
These
that?
people
Like, are
know
you
who I am.
serious?
I'm Jasmine
Anyways,
McKnight,
and then
floorball
and then
legend.
then one of the captains, she like literally had to message me, text me, and be like, hey, like just wondering why you haven't responded to the email. I like so embarrassing. I just like went in my junk mail and it was sitting
Oh
there.
no.
My like Google was like, that's garbage. She doesn't need to see that anyway. So I responded to the email, everything was fine. And then we played at TMU.
Goddamn
And
Google.
goddamn Google, yeah. Then we had our 2 games at TMU. It was really cool having our, you know, little training camp, couple of games. People came out. It was cool. Good experience.
Right on. So can people expect to see you on the floorball court again in the near future?
In the near future, hopefully. Yeah, the next like cycle for the women's team is kind of just like getting started, and the qualifications and everything will be the year after next year.
Okay.
Because it's every 2 years that we get Worlds.
You got floorball, Twitch star, media, doing it all.
Doing it all. Doing it all.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I will just be around the GGs a lot this year, so that will be where you find me.
Okay. So get yourselves to Gigi's events and you'll see Jasmine McKnight there. All around star.
And I'm friendly, so you can say hi to me.
And she's friendly. That doesn't come across in this pod, but they'll find out in real life.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jasmine, thank you so much for joining. This has been a pleasure. We'll do it again next year.
Yeah, see you next year.
Yeah, we'll see you next year. And I mean, hopefully we'll chat again before that too.
Yeah, maybe. I'm kidding. Thank you for having me on again.
Absolutely.
Best part of the year is this day.
It's like Christmas.
Yeah.
This is podcasting Christmas. God damn it. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Step Over podcast. Please follow the pod wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps the show, and you'd be doing me a big favor. It also makes sure that you know right away when new episodes go up. Sometimes there's, a few weeks, maybe a few months between episodes, and sometimes the juices are flowing, and you'll hear me with more regularity. And either way, you'll be the first to know when there's a new episode when you subscribe. And I'm all about supporting local soccer, local footy in all forms. So be sure to check out other local pods like VAR Check, which chats a lot of European and international footy, as well as Atletico Ottawa focused content. And if you're an Atletico Ottawa fan, Capital City Supporters Group puts out their After the Whistle pod after every single match. For this show, though, that's it for this episode. So go out and take in some local soccer. There's lots coming up with Atletico Ottawa on the home stretch of the CPL season, and USports about to begin with the uOttawa GGs and Carleton Ravens both in action over the next 2 or 3 months. So take in as much as you can, and until next time, we'll see you.